I'm Matt Corby, and you are watching Noise 11.
Welcome to Noise 11. We're here with Matt Corby. Welcome, man.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Always, anytime.
Oh, good.
I mean, especially since now I really feel like it's coming together for you, isn't it?
Slowly, I guess.
You just seem to be in the right place, the place that you should have been in maybe last year or maybe even the year before. You're getting the right kind of attention, the right radio play on stations that dig your music or should have always dug it, but maybe were still fighting off.
Blinded by the light.
Yeah, possibly.
No, I think it was just like the amount of stuff trying to get onto that, like certain stations is ridiculous, so they can't play everyone, you know. It's good, like, you know, this record's a bit stronger than the last one, and like it's good that like Triple J has shown me heaps of love, and it's so nice, you know, and they've been real good. So.
And even FBI, you just
I
got
love them.
Yeah, and you just got
them.
nominated. What was it? A next big thing, which kind of sounds funny since you've been doing this for a while.
It's all right. That's all good. Like the Middle East got nominated for like, what was their thing at the Arias? It's because like Bree from that band,
breakthrough artist or something.
They've been together for 7 years.
Yeah, and now they've broken up.
Yeah, they're already done.
Yeah.
But like it's funny, and like when she told me that, Bree from the band told me that they got nominated for that, I laughed my head off. I thought it was really funny.
Oh, well, we can go straight into that. Right, this new EP you've got, Into the Flame, has Bree from the Middle East.
Yes, Bree Tranter.
On Big Eyes, the last track.
Yes.
Now, you've also been managing to get some nice friends recently. You've got her on that. You were on Julia Stone's record,
Yeah.
And on Passenger's record as well.
Mm-hmm. Mikey.
Yeah, how does this happen?
I don't know. I guess everyone knows everyone. Eventually, everyone meets everyone, and like, I guess, like, we all do something quite similar, and like, musically, and we all have the same ideals musically. So it's lovely to be asked to play on Mikey's record and on Jules's record, and like, they're just good people, you know. Like, it's just, and they're so easygoing about it. Like, I saw Jules asked me at Splendor like last year, and she was just like, you should come and, like, she was just like, oh, you should come and play on the CD I'm making. I'm like, yeah, okay, cool. And like, when they like spent a couple of hours at her place, and we just did like a tiny little choral bit at the end, and she was like, yeah, cool, so I'm sending it off to New York tomorrow, and the album's coming out. I didn't even know it was like a thing. She didn't really tell me anything about it. And then she like posted me like the CD, and it's such a good record.
And you're like, oh, there's me.
I was like, hey, I'm on that.
Well, the thing about choosing Bree as well for yours, it sounds like you would have had a lot of options. Why Bree? Just the voice suited, or the time?
Well, Bree's been a good friend for years, and she's played in the band. She's played in my band for about a year and a bit now. Whenever she can, like whenever she wasn't on tour or whatever. But it's because my old drummer was the original drummer from the Middle East, and so that's how I met all those guys. And they've all kind of migrated to Sydney pretty much, and so I see them all the time. And they're it was kind of like when I was making this record, I was like, do you want to play on it? Like, it'd be cool if you play keys and we can do a song together. And she was down for it. She'll be here. She's playing these shows with me in Melbourne as well. Well, she's playing 2 shows. She's not playing the second TOF, which is sad, because she's playing for Passenger as well now. Mikey poached her.
It's a big love-in.
It's ancestral.
Exactly. All right, this EP kind of goes a little bit everywhere. Particularly, well, it's just that the Brothers just kind of gets pretty angry. The opening track
does get quite angry.
Were these the 4 tracks that you just sort of had ready, or were there a bunch of them and you went, no, these 4 fit together very well, and this is it?
Well, no, I don't think they actually fit that well together, to be honest.
Oh, I think it's a pretty big journey in 4 songs.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, it is. It goes from one end of the spectrum to the other, but it's something that, like, this year was a pretty heavy year for me, I think, like, just as far as just me being a human, not musically or anything. And I think these are the only 4 songs that I wanted to show anyone, you know. Like, I'd written a fair bit for it, and I didn't know why I was writing this year because I wasn't planning on doing anything, and when it came time to to decide whether or not I wanted to record, these were the only 4 songs that I saw as a logical choice to put on a record, because they just represent this past year and sort of what I've sort of been through in my thought process, and so yeah, I just couldn't justify putting anything else on there.
You say that it's been a heavy year personally, but hell, it's been a heavy year professionally. Even when I read somewhere that you said, in April I was kind of thinking that I'd give the game away, I was over music, it was just doing my head in.
Yeah.
And then I worked out, you went to South by this year, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
That's in March.
Yeah.
So right after South by Southwest, you were going, I'm over this music game.
Well, yeah, I think I had a bit of a rough trip in London, and I sort of...
But you had sold out shows in London.
Yeah, but like it's one of those things that like I'm a kind of person that will just spiral down and not see anything good. And I kind of alienated a few people, a few very close friends, and I felt really bad about it. And I'm sort of mending those relationships, trying to but when I got home, I kind of realized that I was being a jerk, and I did realize I was being a jerk. And at the same time, I was like, I think I just need to cool it, and I told Maddie, my manager, I was just like, look, I'm not too keen on doing much this year. I'm gonna go get a job and just not think about anything, which is kind of funny because like I haven't really done anything worth mentioning. But
what do you mean you haven't done anything?
Well, you know what I mean. Like I've just been doing my own thing, and it's kind of just cruising around, which is fine, and I really enjoy it. But it's funny going like, oh, I'm over it. Well, like, mate, like you haven't really done much,
No, you never stopped. I was looking at this year and I was thinking, my God, and all of the Secret Garden shows and new EP and booking things, and I know that it's coming towards the end of the year, but it seems like you've had a hell of a busy musical year.
Yeah. Well, the garden shows were supposed to be just a little thing to keep me playing, because I never wanted to stop. This is
an incredibly cool idea. Can you kind of explain it a bit more about how it came together and how they work? Because I think I saw a poster with Secret Garden shows, but I didn't quite work out what the reality was of it.
Well, it was one of those things where we were only planned on really doing them in Sydney just to see what happened, because we had no idea how they were going to pan out.
This is shows where you basically just find not even a venue, like a backyard or a park or something, and people email you to come.
Yeah, and it's like, but like the way that we did it was like just put it out there. Like, if anyone wants to host a show at their house, let me know. And we had a few people put their names forward, which was kind of surprising at first, because I was wondering why they were so keen on having like 100 strangers in their backyard. But I think everyone just really fell in love with the concept, and the nights themselves were all so different and so beautiful, and it's just it's really raw and it's really personable, and it just brings music back to its original form, which was supposed to be the reason behind music is to bring people together, and it's exactly what these shows did. And for those 3 or 4 hours in someone's garden, people actually put down their fucking iPhones and actually started talking to someone next to them, which I think is an amazing thing, because people do tend to segregate themselves nowadays with technology, and everyone's on some sort of social forum, but they're actually not socializing, and it's really interesting because there's someone right there, but you're giving them a dirty look because, they're talking loudly to one of their friends on the phone or whatever. It's just interesting, and...
Yeah, I guess it'd get people to join in together, because it's almost like a party, you're all in this together, whereas if you go to a venue, everyone's coming from disparate places, they're like, and this is my night and I'm going to have fun, and
totally.
You're using your iPhone or you're talking while I'm trying to listen or something. But I suppose, if everyone's sitting cross-legged with a goon bag next to them, there's a reason to talk to the person next to them.
Exactly. And it just, there was just these little communities just for a few hours that of people that didn't know anyone else there. People would come from and the major cities were more interesting than the rural towns, because in rural towns a lot of people kind of know everyone else. Everyone kind of knows everyone, which is kind of cool. But so that was more like everyone's getting together for something, like as a group. But in cities, it was like people were like, oh, like, you know, there's a secret garden show at this person's house. Oh, like me and two friends are going to go. And they'd go and, you know, they'd be a little pockets of 3 or 4 friends together, which would then end up like, it would end up becoming this thing where they would end up, you know, talking to some people that they would have never met. And it's just like, it was just interesting because like you'd see that people, some kids would rock up and they'd be real cool and like, oh, just gonna go smoke, and you're like, yeah, cool. But then you'd end up seeing at the end of the night having a conversation with someone they didn't know, and you're like, that's kind of cool. Like, I really like that because it's bringing someone outside of their own little bubble, which is quite an important thing.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to go back to regular shows now, isn't it? Where everyone's you're facing the front and you're.
It was quite weird. I've done one proper gig since the garden shows, and it was, I sort of had to go back into like oh, I'm got to be a pro here
performer mode, yeah.
And like when I first got on stage, it was at the Oxford Arts Factory in Sydney, which is kind of it's a cool venue, you know, and
which you sold out, mind you.
Yeah, which was really, and that was kind of scary. It was like 500 people just like all crammed in together, just gone, like looking at you real weird. And at the start of the gig, I was like, oh, you know, I just put on my music face and just went out there and just did what I had to do. And by the end of it, I was like, I kind of just remember that it's like, this should just be like it always has been this last couple of months, where there's people in here together. And someone made me, from a garden show, someone made me this cob loaf and bring it to the show. I'm like, oh, you know, for backstage or whatever. And I told my tech, I was like, go get that cob loaf. And he went and got it. And I was just on stage with, like, you know, the condiments of a cob loaf, just like putting the dip in it. And I was just like, is anyone hungry? Like, just passed out a cob loaf. And
it's
it was
like Jesus and the fishes and the loaf.
But it was like, I just thought it was like, and it was so funny. As soon as I did that, everyone kind of relaxed, and it was really interesting. Like, the dynamic just shifted. And from stage, you can see everything. Like, you can read a crowd, you know, so easy, because you're slightly elevated and you can see what's going on, like in terms of from the front to the back, and how people are receiving it. And
this is great. It sounds like it's changed. It's going to change all of your future gigs now. This little experiment.
Well, it depends on how much cob loaf I can make,
or how much you can convince people to bring.
That's right. Yeah. But
Okay.
I can't always rely on other people to make me cob loaf.
You just jumped on board Feist's Laneway sideshow, yeah?
In Adelaide, yes.
Wow.
Which is amazing.
Only in Adelaide?
Yeah. Well, she only announced an Adelaide show, and we got on board, and then she kind of had leeway from Laneway to do Sydney and Melbourne. And I don't think we got on the shows, but that's okay, because I just kind of want to meet her. I don't even want to play. I just want to shake her hand and tell her how much I want to marry her. So
yeah, I think that'll go down well.
I think so. We'll see.
Yeah. Wow. I'm kind of curious. You did the road trip for this as well, like basically just driving all around the place. And I noticed something about morale is pretty good, you said in one of the videos.
Morale is high.
Yeah, and I'm wondering how you manipulate morale during a tour.
As in,
if it's going to, like, do you work out after a while, like, this is going, if I do this, it's going to all go downhill, or, okay, now everyone's shitty at each other, how do I fix it and how do I get everyone happy again?
The good thing was about that tour is that I took, like, 3 of my very best friends along with me, and they're like the cruisiest people in the world. Like, they really, like, nothing phases them, you know. And that comment when I said, I remember, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Because you hadn't slept or something. It was first thing in the morning, you were still driving,
we drove like 12 and a half hours to Mackay through the night to play our first show. Where we hadn't played a show yet. And like, we just got to Queensland. And I'd spent a couple of days there, which was great because I was really relaxed, and we'd been, you know, surfing and just drinking coffee, and it was so funny. And reality struck so quick as soon as we were about 5 hours down the road going, it's 2 o'clock in the morning, and there's fog, and there's kangaroos, and there's trucks, and I'm driving a car that I've never driven before, and this sucks, man. This is the first that we haven't even played a show, and it was so interesting. But the funny thing is, every time we got to a point where we were just like, I'm over it, we'd rock up to a house and there'd be a group of people there that would just save us, and you know, you'd start talking to these amazing people from, you know, some remote town in Victoria, or, you know, Mackay, or wherever you were, and you'd just like, your soul would just be like, oh, because they'd see you and they're like, thank you so much for coming to our town, like, it's, why are you here? And I'm like, oh, I'm playing music, you know. And it was just like, it was such an amazing thing just to get to know these people and get, you got a really, like, I got a really good insight into how much, like, even like 100 kilometers can do to a culture, like an Australian town, like, and also
how far your music has spread.
Yeah, totally. It's very interesting. It's like, because I've never been to these towns before, but there was still, you know, 50 or 60 people from a small town that have been like, dude, I really like your music. I'm like, do you even have internet out here?
Yeah,
like, it's like,
my music.
Yeah, it's like, what? How do you live? But no, we went to some beautiful places that, you know, I wouldn't know they existed if I didn't go there.
This seems like a bit of a stupid question, but I have to ask it. You just put out an EP, but hey, album, when is it?
Oh, big question.
It's the only question I'm paid to ask, actually.
Really?
Yeah, when's the next album? I need the dirt, man.
I see. Well, there's a few things happening next year. An album will be one of them, which will be very late next year, but we're going to do some interesting things that I'm not allowed to talk about.
Okay.
But I'm very excited about them. And it has it has things to do with recording. So, yeah. So it'll be, as far as recording next year, I'll be very busy, which is exciting because I'm never really, I'm never really that busy with recording because I've only to date released very small bodies of work, and within the space of like 8 or 9 to 12 months, you know, in between. So it's, yeah, next year I think I'll be run off my feet with some recording things, but it'll be good.
All right. We're happy to hear it. Okay. Well, thank you very much for coming in.
It's my pleasure.